Title: The Shattered Realm, Chapter 1. The Prophecy Awakens. Beneath the twin moons of Eldoria, the kingdom of Velmara thrived for centuries, untouched by war. Its people lived in peace, guarded by the ancient magic of the Veilstone, a relic said to be a gift from the gods. But peace is fragile, and darkness lurked in the forgotten corners of the world. The prophecy had been whispered for generations. When the Veilstone dims, a child of shadow and light shall rise, and the fate of the realm will rest in their hands. Most dismissed it as a myth, until the night the Veilstone cracked. Deep within the capital city, a young woman named Liora sat in the grand library of Velmara, tracing her fingers over the worn pages of an ancient tome. She had always been drawn to the legends of old, but tonight something felt different. The air around her grew heavy, and a whisper echoed through the halls. "Liora, it is time." She turned sharply, her heart pounding. The voice was not one she recognized, yet it felt familiar, as if it had been with her all her life. Before she could react, the floor trembled, and a blinding light erupted from the direction of the royal palace. Liora rushed to the window, gasping as she saw the sacred Veilstone shatter into 1,000 shards. The kingdom was no longer safe. Chapter 2. The Gathering Storm. In the mountainous village of Kelthorn, a lone warrior named Eryx stood atop a cliff, watching the stars. His people were the last descendants of the Starborn, ancient warriors who had once served the gods. Though the Starborn had faded into obscurity, Eryx still felt the fire of his ancestors burning within him. That fire turned to ice as he saw the sky fracture. A jagged rift split the heavens, and from it a monstrous shadow slithered into the world. It was not the first omen, but it was the most terrifying yet. He gripped the hilt of his blade, knowing that Velmara would soon need warriors once more. Far to the west, in the dense forests of Eldenwood, a rogue mage named Sylwen felt the shift in the world's magic. The air around her pulsed with an energy she had not felt in years. The barriers between worlds were weakening. Someone had broken the balance. Chapter 3. The Journey Begins. Liora had no choice but to flee. With the Veilstone broken, the kingdom fell into chaos. Shadows crept into the streets, whispering ancient curses and twisting men into monsters. The only hope lay in the prophecy. If she truly was the child of shadow and light, she had to find her destiny before the darkness consumed everything. She gathered what little she had and set out toward the mountains, where the last Starborn warrior was said to reside. If the legends were true, Eryx would be her first ally. The journey was treacherous. Creatures that should have been mere nightmares prowled the lands, drawn to the power that now pulsed within her. She barely escaped an ambush by a pack of Shadowborn, twisted beings born from the remnants of forgotten gods. As she stumbled into the mountain pass, exhaustion weighing her down, she saw him. Eryx stood like a sentinel against the wind, his blade gleaming under the moonlight. He did not speak, but in his eyes she saw recognition. "You're the one the prophecy spoke of," he said. Liora hesitated. "And you're the last Starborn." He nodded. "Then we don't have time to waste." Chapter 4. The Mage's Secret. Their path led them west, where Sylwen waited. The rogue mage had spent years unraveling the mysteries of the Veilstone, and if anyone knew how to restore it, it would be her. But Sylwen was not easily found, nor was she eager to help. When they finally reached her sanctuary, an ancient ruin deep within Eldenwood, she was already expecting them. "You brought the girl," Sylwen said, her silver eyes gleaming. "Good. I was beginning to think the world had given up." Liora frowned. "You knew about me?" Sylwen smirked. "Of course. The moment the Veilstone shattered, your fate was sealed." She turned to Eryx. "And you, warrior, are bound to her destiny whether you like it or not." Eryx crossed his arms. "We need answers, mage," Sylwen sighed, tracing her fingers along an ancient sigil carved into the stone wall. The Veilstone was never meant to last forever. It was a barrier, holding something, or someone, at bay. Leora's blood ran cold. What did it imprison? Sylwen met her gaze. A god, and now it is waking. Chapter 5. The Rise of the Forsaken. As they pieced together the truth, the shadows deepened across the land. In the city of Velmara, a dark figure emerged from the ruins of the palace, draped in tattered robes and eyes burning like embers. The Forsaken One had returned. His voice slithered through the night like venom. "The age of mortals is over. Bow before your true master." Across the realm, his minions stirred. an army of creatures born from nightmares, ready to claim the world for their master. Chapter 6. The Last Hope. Liora, Eryx, and Sylwen had one chance to stop him. The shards of the Veilstone still held power, and if they could forge them into a new relic, they might be able to seal the Forsaken One away once more. But time was running out. With the world on the brink of collapse, the trio set out on a final, desperate quest to the heart of the world where the gods had once walked. If they failed, all of Eldoria would fall into eternal darkness. The battle was fierce, and the Forsaken One unleashed his full might upon them. But with courage and unity, Liora channeled the power of the Veilstone shards, sealing the darkness away once more. As dawn broke over Eldoria, peace returned. The battle was won, but the scars of the war remained. Liora, Eryx, and Sylwen had saved their world, but they knew the balance was fragile. For now, the realm was safe, but legends never truly end, and in the shadows, something still watched, waiting for the veil to weaken once more. Epilogue. The Whisper of Fate. Years passed, and Eldoria flourished, but deep within the forgotten ruins of Velmara, a single shard of the Veilstone pulsed with an eerie glow, a whisper carried through the wind. The gods are never truly silent, and so the cycle continued.